you done for me lately? It's Coons. What have y'all done for us lately? And if there's no answer, you know, the only thing we owe them.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk 2. We're going to talk about trending topics tonight. As you guys can see, we got Dr. Short here. A lot going on, a lot of stuff going on. And we're going to start this off. It's going right in Dr. Short's hometown. The city where he is birthed from, where everything is the capital of our country. And it's important to have someone that is living literally there. So all the lies, all the fake narratives that's talked about once was Chocolate City at one time.
Come here.
Dr. Short is here to give us what's really going on in DC and give us an honest assessment of a place where he grew up at. And there's no need to ask anybody else about DC. You have a DC native. Someone born, bred, still lives in DC, understands the landscape politically, socially, economically, from a real Black perspective. Someone who saw the late Marion Barry transform that city. And in spite of all his shortcomings, put that city on the map as a prominent Black city in America. So, what's up, Dr. Short?
Well, white Jesus loves you and me and MFM everybody. And I want to say hi to all my white brothers and sisters out there in Cyberland. We are going to have a great show tonight. We'll be talking about, I guess I'm calling this, from Watts riot to DC occupation. So this is sort of a retrospective of at least 60 years. And actually we'll be doing more, looking at what's going on and connected to a lot of other issues, because the way this thing is being discussed isn't quite complete, and you'll never get that. The news is there to inflame and titillate or anger or make you feel empathy for the wrong people, but it does not educate or inform. It could do that. It does not. One of the greatest journalists we ever had was Edward R. Murrow. And when he met with the radio television people back in '61 and says, why can't we educate the public? Do we have to just do, like, basically keep them stuck on stupid? And they kind of gave him polite applause. They got his ass off the air. If you ever want to see some good news reporting that you don't get now, look up Edward R. Murrow and his See It Now, or in particular Harvest of Shame, or if you can see any of his stuff, his breakdown of school segregation or South Africa, or a range of topics, and you won't hear about him. He died in the middle 60s, just about 61 years ago. Let me check real fast. I think he died about 64, 66, somewhere in there, maybe 63. But let me look real fast.
Did he end his broadcast with good night and good luck? I think
Maybe
that
he
was his
did.
moniker, right?
I think that's his moniker. Um, he died 1965, April 27, 65. Yeah, he died 60 years ago. Basically, more or less obscured sideline. He told the truth. Fought with McCarthy. In fact, Good Night and Good Luck is a black and white film that was a real good film. I saw it in the theater. I've seen it. It was a good film. All right. So tonight, the 13th of August, 2025, it's like the third night of the National Guard being out in DC. And it's also 60 years ago, the third night of the Great Watts Rebellion in Los Angeles, California, which resulted in part because of some of the same issues you see today: police brutality, housing discrimination, unemployment, and a lot of other things that just people really fed up with what was going on in Los Angeles. And of course, young black motorist, Marquette Fry, was driving a little drunk, and the police stopped him, and his mama was there, and he got hit in the face with the police baton, and the people were there watching, and the word got out that the police beat up a pregnant woman, and the rest is history. It kicked off literally 6 years of urban rebellions throughout the United States, in the hundreds of urban rebellions in all sorts of cities, large and small, where black folks took to the streets with destroying property, burning things. And it's interesting that the first riot in the 60s, which you don't hear about, happened in DC, where at the stadium, right? The DC stadium. And basically it's a football game, all-star game. And I don't know, black youth, white youth, and black folk kick white people's ass at what's called RFK Stadium in DC in 1961. So when people say, "Oh, you know, the riots didn't start until '6," no, there was a riot in '61. Black people beat, so you didn't hear about it. You'll never hear when black people get the best of someone. It's like Cincinnati. It either didn't happen or they come down and smash people hard, to make certain that people don't stand up. So you had hundreds of people fighting, and that basically expedited whites leaving DC. And by 1960, actually, blacks, this was the first major United States city with a black majority population, which occurred 65 years ago. And within 1 year of that, black folk are acting like we run this, even before you had a mayor, even before the Washington Redskin team was desegregated. It was, I think, if not the last team to desegregate, it was among the last teams to do so. And so in DC, folk were raising hell. And of course, there are other subsequent things that occurred. There was also a riot that no one talks about because of the Dr. Martin Luther King myth that took place in Birmingham, Alabama, in which at least 3 blacks were killed, in addition to the 4 girls that were blown up, and the 5th girl that was blinded by the shards of glass, who's still alive, who hasn't received reparations. In fact, a little no good governor of Alabama has issued an apology, but there's been no help for this woman that was literally blown up, looked like a tar baby with cotton balls over its eyes. If you ever see the pictures of the young woman, there were 5 girls that were bombed, 4 died, 1 survived, blinded. And so 2 black boys were shot dead for running from the police. And then another black man was shot dead. There were a bunch of people injured, and there were riots in Birmingham, Alabama in 1963. Actually, I think it was August. It was either August or September 63. Whenever they blew up the 4 little girls, that same thing. Let me get the dates because I always want you guys to, when you hear from me, you can go and look it up and it'll stand in any book, not because I'm so smart, but I want you to actually know. I don't want you to have conjecture. I'm not Umar Johnson. I don't. I'm not trying to impress you. I would rather say yes. I need to check Birmingham bombing, 16th Street bombing. Yeah, it was September. So next month on the 15th, because yeah, the bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church in and Birmingham, Alabama, occurred after the March on Washington, which was August 28th, 1963. By the way, my mother, who was very sick, was at the March on Washington. Pray for her. And of course, 19 sticks of dynamite were put in that church, and many people were injured. So there was a riot in Birmingham, but to keep the nonviolent image of the civil rights movement in the South, you don't hear about that little riot where black folks burned up and destroyed some white property in Birmingham. That doesn't fit the nonviolent, getting your ass beat at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. So there's almost never any discussion of Birmingham's riot. Okay. There were disturbances in 1964 in Rochester, New York. Similar thing. brutal police, bad housing, unemployment, youth unemployment in particular, same conditions we have right now. And the people blew up in Rochester. Let me give you the dates for it. And there were also black folks that raided the armories in Jersey. I think in 64, the same year, there were a series. There was a riot in Harlem in 1964. These were small, relatively speaking. I want to give you, yes, the 1964 riot occurred in Rochester, New York. Believe it or not, let me give you the proper date. That started on July 24th, 1964, lasted 2 days until July 26, 1964. 5 people died, 300 people injured, 900 arrested. All of these things built up to Watts. There was a steady progression, but think about that. That's like, what, 5 people? Birmingham, it's 3 people, so it goes from 3 to 5. Let's do the Harlem riots of 1964 again. Police brutality, bad housing, bad schools, lack of jobs. Okay. Harlem riot 1964. Okay. It was July 16th and 22nd, 1964, as well as in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. Right? 15-year-old guy shot and killed in front of his friends and witnesses, executed by a policeman. Right? 4,000 people involved, only 1 death, 118 injured, 465 arrested. These numbers are small. There were riots in Paterson, New Jersey, Camden, New Jersey, all up in there. These things occurred in 64. And people need to understand, people in the Midwest, Northeast, and other towns, civil rights movement, which wasn't all that it's been touted to be for us that we see now. People back then didn't see it. And it did make them feel good watching black people get their ass beat on television and news every night and tell me, get my ass beat by the police is going to get me, what, a job or a house or freedom or even some cooch. I mean, you go around with knots in your head, women think you can't fight, right? Freedom, shit. You need to free yourself from whoever beat your ass last night. So, Harlem riot, policeman executed the school kid. By the way, my friend Raphael, who I think I've given you a number for, he was around for that. He is about 15 years older than I. So he would have been aware and in the area when the riots took place, right? I'm just mentioning this because this thing is bubbling. It's bubbling throughout the early 60s that there's a mood of black folks tired of shit. Just like there's a mood right now, it's beneath the surface. If the right circumstances are triggered, we could see things happen now. I don't want them to. I'm not encouraging anyone to do anything. They already shadow ban the hell out of me. People act like I'm out here promoting violence and warfare and killing and hatred. And if folks don't like what I'm saying, like someone got offended when I made a comment that white people got land free in this country. I know you know that, don't you, Brother Quentin?
I mean, the Homestead Act is telling you that.
I mentioned that. I mentioned that in person. I says, before you accuse me, please read 160 acres just for being white.
Yeah,
That
and
sounds like
all you had to do is say, "I'm gonna have a farm on my land," and
yes.
most of it never got fulfilled, which is amazing that there was no checks and balances.
No, but as long as you're white and you're going to help us kill Indians here, okay, and it's the equivalent of 900,000 square miles of land given away. That's almost the size of the eastern half of the United States.
Per family.
Huh?
So I said per family.
Yes, but it's 900,000 square miles of land was literally handed to people simply for not being Indian or black or both. And someone felt like I had lied or slandered or maligned white people. Get that. And I said, look, just look up the Homestead Act. Or what happened in Oklahoma where the people could lie and say they were Indians and be given land that they had no right to, and you killed and took it from the Indians, and just be white, say you something else here. And I'm promoting hatred and lies against people. So if people don't follow me, if you can't deal with historical facts, get away from my platform. I'm not trying to be a cross-ethnic crossover blogger, podcast, whatever the hell I am. I'm not trying to reach or touch anyone that's not in my community. If I reach and touch you, that's fine. I'm not against sharing or helping, but you're not the focus, you're not the emphasis. If you come in here and think I'm going to shade or change what I do on this platform to suit you because you're not in my group, you're deceived. Okay. And yes, they just gave people stuff because they were white.
And Dr. Short, even when you think about that, most of us that grew up in heavy populated cities don't really understand the vast amount of land 2 acres are. 3 acres are. We're talking about 160 acres per family.
160 acres, and you could get more if there are a couple of things you could get more. I forget the other deals on that. As well, land grant colleges to make certain that you got an education just because you were white. Make certain that this is a college for you versus black schools being burned and black teachers being lynched and all of that, you know, right? And when people say pull yourself up by your bootstraps, okay, all right, whatever. I just want to create a historical path. I'm almost there. So we get to 1964. What happened just before these riots was the Civil Rights Act. We can now eat ice cream, and I can have a bowel movement in a white bathroom. I can buy some diabetes-inducing carbonated drinks that have lots of sugar in it. I can spend my money with people who won't employ me. I can invest in people. So, it's kind of cool, kind of. But also remember the summer of 64, they began killing civil rights workers in Mississippi. Remember Freedom Summer, they found 3 bodies, and then they found like another, somewhere between 8 to 12 other bodies they found of other black people killed. They were black, it just didn't matter. I mean, black people used to disappear. They would, like one black guy got castrated and thrown off a bridge and all this kind of stuff. This had been on TV consistently. So a lot of black people were antagonized by the television that they were seeing. And this is going on, right? And also you had, not just that, you had the Civil Rights Bill. But remember, in 63, Medgar Evers had been killed. You saw a lot of brutality all over this country. I mean, there were instances where people had to flee for their lives out of places like Louisiana. You had the Deacons for Defense literally having pitched battles with Klansmen down in Louisiana and Mississippi and other places. So it's a tense time. We need to remember at the beginning of 1965, it's just about the day I was born, they started deploying people to Vietnam, I think in February 65.
Wow.
It's about 60 years ago. They really began to kick up the numbers. So you have this going on. And then you also had this situation. I'm going to go right to Los Angeles. You had the rise of a white politician named Ronald Reagan in California, and he was one of the key people in California to help lead a movement to block people having fair access to housing in California in 1964. There was a major ballot initiative to keep neighborhoods segregated, prevent black people from leaving the Watts area that they had been entrapped in. Understand what was going on at that time. A lot of people were moving to California because of the industries there, for the war industry, for stuff building up for Vietnam, for the air and space. A lot of people were moving to California, and Watts was too small to hold the growing black population. I have Brother Mark on here who's from LA, right? And let's just get to it. Let me go back to Watts, because this happened everywhere. Folks in Watts in certain areas flipped, right? People were tired of police brutality, were tired of discrimination in housing, employment, and the schools completely sucked. Sounds the same. Nothing has really changed, people. Okay. Whereas there were 5 deaths, where was it 5? The 5 deaths were in Rochester, and 3 deaths were in Birmingham, and 1 death was in New York, Bedford-Stuyvesant, and Watts, people, there were 34 people that died. That's a much bigger number. And the injuries were 1,032 people. And there were 3,438 arrests. Out of Watts in 1965, you get, in fact, what was going on the summer before, because Watts occurred August 11th to the 16th of 1965. The summer before, there was a big hit that didn't go to #1 R&B or pop, and we all know it. It's called "Dancing in the Streets," and people took that song as a riot song. So Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, Martha Reeves' nephew is a friend of mine, never got a #1 record, and they kind of got punished for making what was seen as a militant, revolutionary record, encouraging Black folks, young people, to go out and burn up everything. Okay, are y'all working with me? And what came out of Watts? The whole civil rights movement began to get challenged, and subsequently from Watts onward, the intensity of Black urban rebellions grew every year. I can flip it and say that one of the things that came out of Watts was SWAT, special weapons and tactics. The whole thing, the militarization of the police with tanks and all, which started in Mississippi to fight nonviolent Black people who they thought would riot when Medgar Evers got assassinated, and others. Other people began to militarize their law enforcement. And in the case of Watts, they brought out the National Guard. The National Guard wasn't used in Rochester. It wasn't used in New York. It wasn't used in Birmingham. But you literally had people with military training in Black neighborhoods. Let's do a quick rundown of some of the big Black riots. I'm going to just do about 2 of them because I could say Chicago, they always have a riot. But I'm going to look at 2 more. I'm going to do 3, and then we're going to stop and get into this. Actually, let me add one more. There was a riot in Cleveland. It's called the Huff Riots in Cleveland, Ohio. And nobody's going to talk about it. And by the way, the Cleveland riot is very different. It's different in the fact that it's a community in Cleveland called Huff, spelled Hough, Huff Riots. It's interesting. These things tend to happen in the summer. Huff is a community in Cleveland. It took place July 18th to the 23rd of 1966. This is another year, another summer, people are out fighting. 4 people were killed, 50 people were injured, 275 were arrested. There was arson and fire bombings. The reason for the riots, again, poverty, racism, police brutality. To this day, the Huff community still hasn't recovered. What's interesting is in the Huff riots, which repeats the Watts example, is 1,700 National Guardsmen in Ohio, and those guys don't play if you know about Kent State. The Ohio National Guard will shoot white people's ass. They got the vicious ones there. I'm just saying, that's Huff. Okay? And understand something. There are many of these riots. I want to do 2 more. The biggies. And in fact, let me do this one. I don't know which one happened first. I'm going to find out. I know they both happened in 67. Again, that month of July, In Newark, New Jersey, 1967, black folks got angry, number of deaths. This is the lowball number because a lot of stuff happened in Newark. Brother, you know I'm telling the truth. They killed more than 26 people. They were firing machine guns and all kinds of stuff. But the number of people that they are willing to admit that they killed, mostly black, 26. Hundreds more seriously injured. And they called out the nasty New Jersey National Guard. And they had tanks and other military equipment. For you younger people, a lot of really ignorant black folks who thought that that George Floyd shit was real, that wasn't real. Had that been real black people shit, the army would have been out beating black folks' heads, shooting people. That was some white shit, just like January 6th was. Because I knew as a kid, they had half tracks, cannons, machine guns, they're ready to slaughter some people. I saw these with my own eyes just like a year later in Washington, D.C., to have machine guns going down the street, pointing machine guns, bayonets, and people ready to kill folks. And they killed more than 10 in D.C., but they said it's 10. You know, well, right? Just telling y'all. And so these deployments of people in the city now, in my city now, harkens back to this. It's not the same situation, but it could be. It's called the long, hot summer of 67. So let's look at that. Okay. This long, hot summer that came in 1967, there were 150 riots in American cities. Almost all in the black community, folks were furious. At minimum, they killed 85 black people. At minimum, they injured 2,100. At minimum, they recorded or reported arresting 11,000 people. The worst riots, of course, were in July of that year in Newark and Detroit. Now, let me see. Newark was the 14th. I just need to get the sequence. Let me see. All right. And for 9 months in 1967, there were riots in American cities. There were 150 riots in a 9-month period. If you sit down and you think about it, that's almost 17, 18 riots every damn month. The people were pissed. Okay, good. I'm glad because Newark happened first. That's where I wanted to start. Newark riots started with the beating of a black cab driver. I'm familiar. I just want to make certain I tell it to you right. John William Smith. People rioted for 5 days. 26 people were killed, 700 injured, 1,000 plus were arrested. At least $100 million in damage. To this day, Newark hasn't fully recovered from that riot. Certain people started calling this Black Revolution. The riot in Newark shook up the entire United States government. It made President Johnson look like a fool. And as well, people like Dr. King and others will have to catch up with the people in the streets to try to get out in front of them. It didn't quite work. Okay. The next place, Detroit. Police raided a bar. Negroes need to drink. They're called blind pigs. These are unlicensed places for Negroes to hang out and lounge, drink, and carouse. And the police, of course, shaking down, taking money, bothering people. They used to do this to gay clubs too. Just the police make assholes of themselves. I mean, there's a lot they could do, but they want to go the blind pig. Another riot lasted 5 days. There were a minimum 1,200 injuries, 43 deaths black. 43 deaths, 33 black, 10 white. 7,400 National Guards were sent in to quell fire bombings. The fire bombings in Detroit lasted from 1967 all the way up to the Million Man March of 1995. Black Devils, all that stuff that never stopped when people would burn and do stuff out of anger, rage, destructive anger. President Johnson had troops with tanks and machine guns in Michigan. There was a massacre of young black men in the Algiers Hotel. They're accused of raping white girls, and the police just executed these guys. These kinds of things happen. All those folks who just have to sleep interracially. There's just never enough sex in the black community. There's not enough STD and unwanted babies. You just got to go somewhere else. Go at your own peril. Okay? One of the things that occurred is that the war on poverty, they started in the United States, basically the equivalent of what they were doing in Vietnam, as the United States Army with the Republic of South Vietnam. They did what's called pacification. In the 60s, they started having all kinds of programs for black youth, jobs, anybody that they could coon to like get. You could get anything when shit was on fire. It's amazing. You go and talk and beg and plead, burn some shit over. What you want a job? They began doing it wasn't enough, but they put a Band-Aid on it. And that's where you got the coon group to really get bigger. A lot of people got out of the hood. So
got government jobs.
Got government jobs. Okay. So there was a riot in Omaha, Nebraska. Riot in Nashville, Tennessee. Riot in Louisville, Kentucky. Riot. Cleveland had another goddamn riot in 67. There was another riot in Ohio, Massillon, Ohio. There was a riot in Wichita, Kansas. There was a riot in Mississippi. You know, someone got killed there. One person killed. Jackson State. Someone was shot with a stray shotgun blast by the police. The police were getting bottles thrown at them by students in Mississippi. Damn. San Francisco, California, there was a riot. Weren't treated right. Houston, Texas, there was a riot. Rookie police officer got killed at a black campus. Vallejo, California, a riot. Chicago, Illinois, riot. There was another riot. There was one riot on on May 21st, and the riot on May 30th in Chicago. Boston, Massachusetts, a riot in the Grove Hall neighborhood that's in Dorchester. I used to live in that area. Y'all hearing me? Clearwater, Florida, there was a riot. Tampa, Florida, there was a riot. They killed 2. Prattville, Alabama, there was a riot. Cincinnati, Ohio, there was a riot. 1 killed. I'm saying Cincinnati, it's a racist ass place. 63 people injured. What happened? Let me get the description here. Uh-oh. There's a Cincinnati strangler. Woo! $28 million worth of damage in Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a tinderbox long before the snap. Montgomery, Alabama, a riot. Los Angeles had a riot. Philadelphia had a riot. Maywood, Illinois, and Southern Illinois had a riot. Dayton, Ohio had a riot. Middleton, Ohio had a riot. Lansing, Michigan had a riot. Atlanta, Georgia, I didn't know that. They had a riot. One person killed. Roanoke, Virginia riot. Buffalo, New York a riot. Cincinnati had another riot. Los Angeles had a riot. Des Moines had a riot. Kansas City had a riot. Waterloo, Illinois, Iowa had a riot. And of course, New Jersey had theirs. Plainfield, New Jersey, where the black folks had a riot. They went out and raided the armory and got carbines. They got military grade weapons. They had to shut all of Plainfield down. They searched house to house. They were kicking in doors to make certain that black folks didn't keep those guns. Irving, New Jersey, a riot. Orange, New Jersey, a riot. East Orange, New Jersey, a riot. Montclair had a riot. New Brunswick, New Jersey had a riot. Elizabeth City, Jersey had a riot. Patterson had a riot. Jersey City had a riot. I heard about this one. Hartford, Connecticut had a riot. Erie, Pennsylvania had a riot. Des Moines had a riot. Fresno, California had a riot. Greenwood, North Carolina had a riot. Cairo, Illinois had a riot. Erie, Pennsylvania had a riot. Nyack, New York had a riot. Minneapolis, Minnesota had a riot. Durham, North Carolina had a riot. Lakeland, Florida. Bridgeton, New Jersey. Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Wadesboro, North Carolina. Youngstown, Ohio. Englewood, New Jersey. Houston, Texas. Detroit, Michigan, with 1,200 people injured and 7,300 arrested. So the big ones were Newark, but you have to understand, this shook the country up, people. Folk were upset. Folks were upset. Grand Rapids, Michigan had a riot. Pontiac, Michigan had a riot. 2 dead. Flint, Michigan had a riot. Kalamazoo, Michigan had a riot. Mount Clemens, Michigan had a riot. Muskegon, Michigan had a riot. Benton Harbor, Michigan had a riot. Albion, Michigan had a riot. New York City had a riot in 1967, 4 people dead. Toledo, Ohio had a riot. Birmingham had another riot. New Britain, Connecticut had a riot. Rochester had another riot. What is this? What happened? Oh, wow. 2 people killed. Tucson, Arizona. Lena, Ohio. Waukegan, Illinois. Cambridge, Maryland. Racist-ass Eastern Shore, Maryland had a riot. Phoenix, Arizona had a riot. Mount Vernon, New York had a riot. South Bend, Indiana had a riot. Marin City, California had a riot. Sacramento, San Francisco. Cincinnati had another riot. Damn, Cincinnati. Philadelphia had a riot. Alton, Illinois had a riot. New Rochelle had a riot. Lorraine, Ohio had a riot. Albany, New York had a riot. Poughkeepsie, New York had a riot. Peekskill, New York. Racist-ass Peekskill, New York had a riot. East St. Louis had a riot. Passaic, New Jersey, where the Shirelles are from, they had a riot. Waterbury, Connecticut. Seattle, Washington. Memphis, Tennessee. Springfield, Ohio. Racist-ass Springfield, where the Haitians are supposedly eating the pets, they had a riot. Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Pasadena, California. Long Beach, California. Wilmington, Delaware. Newburgh, New York. Elgin, Illinois. Rockford, Illinois. Portland, Oregon. Riviera Beach, Florida. East Palo Alto, California. Look at this. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 4 blacks killed, 100 injured, 1,700 National Guardsmen called out. Are you hearing me, brother? Wichita, Kansas. Erie, Pennsylvania. West Palm Beach, Florida. Denver, Colorado. Providence, Rhode Island, San Bernardino, California, Washington, D.C. I didn't even know about this one. They had a riot on 8th Street. This is like blocks from where my mother grew up. This is on the same street. The Washington Coliseum. 8th Street is where my dad's church was on 5th and 8th Street Northeast. They had a riot. And of course, they had a riot the following year, which was much worse. Wow. I did not know that. And this is when I didn't know. One person killed. Watchnot, New York, one person killed. Sandusky, Ohio, the Sandusky, the child molester at Penn State, 2 black people killed there. Peoria, Illinois, 3 people killed. Wichita, Kansas. I'm sorry, no people killed in Peoria. And no people killed in Sandusky, Ohio. I got that wrong. And none killed in New York. I'm reading the wrong column. Wichita, Kansas, Houston, Texas, Syracuse, New York, New Haven, Connecticut. Y'all got an idea? This is all over the country. Younger black folks pissed. Folks turned out the whole country from coast to coast. The only place you didn't hear was Alaska and Hawaii. You know, it's too cold and shit. It probably snowed the fire out, man. Man, can you imagine black folk trying to riot and the Eskimos building an igloo over the fire and shit? Thank you, soul brother. Right. So this country was on its edge. It was on its edge. And so the army was out everywhere. And so, but it all started in particular in Watts. And it set basically it set the mark for civil disturbances. When bodies pile up, people pay attention. Not that I want anybody to do that. There are other ways that people can stand up without destroying things. I want to just quickly bring it back and remind people that these waves of disturbance and violence occur throughout this country's history. You had Jacksonian riots where white folks attacked black people in cities for basically 100 years. From like the 1820s to the 1920s, I guess it's crowned with Black Wall Street. Okay, Chester, Pennsylvania. I mean, there were riots everywhere. Longview, Texas. This literally goes from the 1820s to the 1920s that there's violence, and it's typically white people attacking black people for 100 years in urban areas, attacking them on Beacon Hill in Boston. It used to be called Nigger Hill because blacks lived there. Are y'all hearing me? And so this is what's going on. And Watts literally comes from a different generation of people saying, hell, we're going to act out like, and I don't like it, but I'm saying to you it happened. And now I want to add just one more, because you had one more real outburst, and this is why they're drugs, and this is why people really invest a lot in buying off the Bushies and the Coons. Okay, because this country could all burn up if people really got tired and decided to go Palestinian or Northern Ireland or whatever. Not that I want that. I like peace. I don't like smoke. It bothers my sinuses. So I don't even like smoking. I can't barely deal with incense. So you had a big blow up in July, first in August 65. And then you had this crazy shit that hit in July 67. If you put Newark and Detroit together, you're talking about at least 70 people, and that's at least 80 some odd people that they're willing to acknowledge. because a lot of people's asses burnt up. In D.C., there were people that burnt up in fires. There were people that burnt up in fires in Newark. People burnt up in fires, and if nobody claimed a body, people really don't know. There were bodies that weren't identified in morgues. Whenever you hear about a black riot or black rebellion or massacre, you always get a lowball number. You never get a huge number of people because black lives don't matter. Okay. In East St. Louis, they burnt up like 50 city blocks, and you mean to tell me it's just 30 some odd people and you trapped them in the fire? It's not, it's like, what, 50? No, it may be 1,200. That's a massacre. If a bunch of Palestinians getting killed gets folks tear jerked, we need to understand, folks, even we don't cry over black people mass murdered in our own country. And I don't care if it was a long time ago. That's even more reason we should be getting MFM, right? We need our motherfucking money. I want to do one more piece and then we're going to come right to the topic. Certain people call them the King assassination riots. Okay. When Dr. King got killed, assassinated on April 4th, 1968, that was like the mother of niggas just going postal in the country. In fact, President Johnson and them opened up concentration camps. They had the full military on alert. They thought black folks were going to take the country down. Living here in D.C., I can tell you the fires were like 2 blocks from the White House. In other words, the president probably was getting smoke inhalation in the White House. And that's not the first time. The first race riot in D.C., the real big one, in 1919, where the black people beat, for every black person killed, like 3-4 white people got taken down. So you'll never hear about that one. They'll tell you about the race riot in Chicago, because the white folks had a head start to attack black folks who were grossly outnumbered in Chicago. And to this day, I just want to say to black people in Chicago that black thugs, gangsters, fought off invading armies of white ethnics. They beat their asses so badly to this day. Chicago has the most stringent gun control laws, not because they don't like guns. It's because they don't want black people to have weapons to defend themselves from crazy ass white people. Do I think everybody needs guns? Shoot, I need a bazooka, RPG. In fact, give me a little small nuclear bomb and shit, just in case someone threatens me, just blow up the whole city if you won't leave it alone. You know what? That's called deterrent and shit, right?
It is a deterrent.
Shit. Yeah, I mean, if you fuck with me, I'll just blow up everybody then. You know, people respect that shit. I don't want that. I'm just being stupid. But let's just do this real fast, and then we're going to get right into it. I hope I'm giving some background. Are you guys bored? Am I wasting your time? Yeah, I voted for Trump, and I haven't said anything bad about Trump. Okay, and you're going to be surprised at my take on the DC thing. So, you know, if you think that I want folk acting crazy, killing and shooting people in the city I live, you've lost your goddamn minds. I don't want my mom carjacked. I don't want to get shot. I don't want to get shot trying to get some gas at the gas station. I'm tired of the damn windows being busted out. He's asked this dude, look, Obama was a fucking white supremacist, pardon my language. I don't see you hating him. The mayor of DC is a white supremacist. Karen Bass is a white supremacist. The mayor of Chicago is white supremacist. Letitia James is a white supremacist. Hakeem Jeffries is a white supremacist. The NAACP people are white supremacists. The Black Greeks are white supremacists. Why would Donald Trump, if he is a white supremacist, be the only person I need to be concerned about? What has Donald Trump done specifically to me or us as a people that makes him the worst of the worst of white supremacists, if he in fact is one? Normally people don't have an answer, okay? Did Donald Trump stop people from dying in Congo? For whatever reason. People have died in the millions in Congo. People started killing in the millions in the Congo when Obama was president. Did Obama stop it? Did Bush stop it? Did Biden stop it? Did Clinton stop it? That's my damn point. Here in my city, people can't get any social services. I have a dear friend who needs help that lost their job unfairly. There's no money in the city budget to help people who've put into the system. We're talking about struggling Black people who've paid into DC, and all their money's been given to 25,000 illegals in Washington, DC. And Donald Trump is trying to get their asses out of here. And I don't care what Donald Trump is. If he can bring Cheathergett to DC, he's my man. If he can deal with the racist ass DC city government that has 20,000 apartments that should be rent controlled, that would end the homelessness problem in DC, that people have been on the waiting list for 25 years, and yet they put these people in hotels and let our people be out in the street. If Donald Trump can bring that hypocrisy to a head, let his ass do it. Quote me. Do I like hog shit at the Defense Department? No, but I don't like DEI either. We Black men don't get shit out of that. We Black men don't get anything out of affirmative action. Let them push for a crime bill. I don't like anybody, but I do know this. Let them push for the military. The military, we're talking about 800 people. 800 people can't keep a city. We got 3,000 cops. What 800 military people going to do? We've already had a murder too, okay? And I hope they do bring them, because these damn Venezuelans and other people who are military trained gangsters, who don't have a problem unloading, who are pushing all the drugs and shit here, hell yeah, bring some soldiers up. They need them in Chicago too. And some of our gangbanging, no good Black folk who will, every event, they pull out a gun and shoot people down trying to do small community things. Fuck those motherfuckers. I'm sick and tired of Negro Sundance Kid, or what's it, you know.
Dr.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? But am I crazy? You have an event, or a party, or a funeral, and these folk just come out shooting everybody. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you're a moderator. I'm tired of lawless Black folks who slaughter.
What's our infatuation with
Black
crime?
people. Huh?
It's an infatuation with crime.
No, I don't have no. I have an infatuation with the death penalty for violent people that terrorize my community. I don't care what the hell they look like. I'm sick and tired. I just saw some people, they're doing a school supply gift giveaway. And somebody just has to have a goddamn fight. And someone has to pull out a gun and start shooting. I understand the brick, but almost everything. You have a little thing, you try to have something for young people, and someone pulls out a gun and just starts shooting people. Damn. Any Black person is fucked up in their brain to think that we got to walk around thinking all the time, hoping that somebody that ain't white, that's Black, won't just come and gun us all down because they're a bastard and their mother didn't get an abortion, their father was too cheap to wear a condom. I don't care flying fuck about anybody that's that ruthless, that cruel, that can go somewhere and just openly go to a party and just start shooting people. We've had this shit. Thus far, the military people haven't shot and killed anybody. For anybody that doesn't live in the DC area, and I know you don't live here, we have some of the highest rates of police shooting and killing people in the country, and nothing is done about it. And it's black attorneys, black this, black every fucking thing. So you mean to tell me when we had maybe 100 people killed by the police in the last 30 years, actually more, and no, they can't even get it to trial, and everybody's black that won't do it, that I'm going to worry about a few soldiers? These people have already been killing and beating people. What's the military with the whole media looking at Washington, D.C.? We're going to get the best policing we've ever had. We've got a no good chief of police that lies about crime statistics. They've been lying about people. Folk are getting robbed, getting stabbed, cars stolen, people coming in from other places doing it. And because they're from another country or they're migrants, the police don't write up their crimes that they commit against black people. I don't give two damns about your feeling. What if that was my mama that got shot at a gas station up here, and this person from another country here illegally, and the police can't touch them because our stud-ass mayor has ambitions? So we're at the mercy of these folks with automatic weapons who are pushing fentanyl that's causing all the people here to die in crazy numbers. And the police can't really do that because the people from another country. Bring on the fucking army. Expose the fraud. Expose the fraud that they brought in these racist ass cops that don't know how to relate to people in the city. Not that the National Guard's going to be any better, but if they're local, they just might. Innocents get caught up all the damn time. Innocents getting shot all the time. The Army, the National Guard, hasn't shot any innocents. But these folks shoot innocent people every goddamn day. I don't like when black folk get worked up when some order comes along. Ooh, some order. Well, I'm going to... Well, damn it, if y'all didn't like that, why aren't there black groups policing the neighborhoods to bring about some fucking order? We don't need the police. Why don't we do it? These black men go to the gym and they can lift cars over their head and shit, but not one fucking fiber of their muscle is used to defend their community, to bring some fucking order. Some people could go out here and body slam some of these punk ass niggas and calm this shit down. No, we just let everything ride. Human trafficking, pedophilia, addiction, STDs. I'm not saying the Army's gonna solve that shit, but can you imagine that some of these people that have been coming into this city, a lot of the people in DC, I just had to skip this and say this and I'll come back. A lot of the people stealing cars and committing crimes don't even live in the city. They come down from Philadelphia, they come down from Delaware, they come down from Jersey, they come in from Maryland, they come in from Virginia, they commit crimes and leave without a trace. And then the police come and fuck over locals trying to figure out who it is because their jurisdiction is just in DC. We already have a fucking crime bill. Donald Trump is trying to make a name for himself. Donald Trump is worried about the damn Epstein list. He's got to do something because the people want to know who fucked who. I want to know. Shit, I'm curious. I want to see some of the rape tapes. Maybe you can help me out with that. I want to see some of the rape tapes. You can black out the face and shit. Just see a little bit of the action. I don't have to watch the whole thing. I want to see nobody pee in nobody's mouth. There's some acts I don't want to see, but I want to see a few of the and say, oh, that's Jennifer Lopez. Oh, that's Oprah. You can tell, like, you know, the bags under the eyes. That's Oprah. That's Oprah. That's Gail. Oh my God, is that Will Smith? No, that's Jamie Foxx. I want to see the tapes. And the white MAGA people want to see the tapes too. And the whole White House is shook. The only escape, the only fire extinguisher they got is black people. This is America, niggas. They're going to find some way to blame black people. At least in this instance, I could use some extra law enforcement. We already have crime bills. In fact, I think this new crime bill is going to be enhanced to increase the number of illegals going to jail. See, the old crime bill was for black people. Use your head, reparations nation. This new crime bill has got to deal with the new criminals. The new criminals, they speak Spanish. They already have everything they need to lock up black people. It is the crimes of the Vietnamese gangs and the triads. That's the shit that they're not good at. That's what they're working on. And in the words of my cousin Marvin Gaye, written by another potential cousins of mine, the Holland brothers, because the Hollands are my cousins from Virginia and North Carolina, how sweet it is. They're going to lock everybody's ass up. And in fact, if they make the jails full of people that are not black, a lot of niggas going to learn how to stick together in jail. And they're not going to want to go to jail because they could get jumped. Jail won't be cool anymore if more homies get shanked and fucked up by these other people. They won't want to be in jail with those people. That whole culture where the little rappers and other people may go into jail, beautiful and wonderful and lovely. I can't wait for people to say, I don't want to do jail anymore. That's a good sign. So if they need to do some DEI in the prisons, bring more people in there, because there's some vicious ass Asians and shit too. So we can like mix it up, because black people get too familiar. There are too many blacks in the prison. You know, a lot fewer people go to the library and shit. Less time in the gym. Am I lying, Brother Q? When black folks are on their toes to have to deal with other people that just totally hate black people's guts, black folks start doing stuff better. I don't want anyone to go to jail. I'm an early mass incarceration abolitionist. I was in that group called Students for a Sensible Drug Policy. What is that, 1998? Wow, that's 27 years ago. Got involved because I don't want people to go to jail. Of course, Trump's trying to cover for himself. Obama covered for himself 8 years doing nothing for black people. Trump just started dogging or messing with, nibbling around the edges with these new white supremacist advisors and shit. The guy's name is Stephen Miller. But you know what? I'm going to say this to you, reparations Negro. I don't see anybody black attacking Stephen Miller. I see white people attacking Stephen Miller. You can post shit on Stephen Miller all day long on Twitter. And because he don't look like a movie star, he looks like the Polish dictator Jaruzelski and shit with his hat taken off. He's bald-headed. Nobody knows who Stephen Miller is. Black folks could put pressure. Stephen Miller got punked. Haven't you seen that happen, Brother Q, where folks are giving Stephen Miller hell? The only people that haven't fought are your black Democratic coons who want Stephen Miller to do all the shit you don't like. There's no pushback from your black Democrats for black people. They're literally encouraging this shit to happen to get Negroes to knee-jerk to vote Democratic in 26. They want this race war too. And my thing is, I would rather Negroes get a clue of their own accord than for them to be literally abandoned politically totally, where they end up getting reactionary and doing this Floyd George shit a second time. Cops won't fuck with you if you don't fuck with them. It's fairly easy to avoid issues with police. A lot of folks want to smoke weed in public, want to drink in public, want to live dirty, want to act foul, want to look strange, hang with odd people and shit. There's no mystery. The police are out there looking, but there's a type. I don't see the police yoking black folks that wear suits, although it can happen. I don't see them messing with black people that look like they're in any way respectable, at least got their bearings. I'm not saying that they don't, but when we see these videos, a lot of times people have a presentation that invites. Okay, if folks are looking for people with hoodies. Why do you have a fucking hoodie on? Yeah, it's your right, but if they're targeting people with a hoodie, Negro, take the damn hoodie off. I like hoodies, but you won't see me with one on. I stopped wearing a beard. People thought I was a Muslim. I would get fucked with in the airport. Everybody was, everyone knew I was a Muzi. And I got some Islamic shit in my passport. He's a Muslim. I mean, I've had my ass kicked. I may as well damn be a Muslim. All the shit I've been through. And people convince, or people scream at me and tell me you're not a Christian. You're a Muslim. This is how you know that beard. That's since I didn't shave. Muslims don't shave. See, that's my point, right? Search him again. Shit. I literally had that happen. It's like, damn. That's why I keep trimming the beard off, because and Muslims all have beards like you do. And I learned that if I'm going to travel, don't make people think that you fit a profile. I got on my
Dr. Short.
I got on my back brace. My back brace freaked people out in the Cleveland airport. No, they freaked them out at one of the airports. They thought it was a bomb and shit when I was at Dulles, because I'm black and I've got some shit strapped on, and my hair was out, and they were freaking off of this thing. They kept running it through, looking for explosives and shit. Oh, it's just the back brace. That's what I told you. But I didn't yell and say, motherfucker, I told you it was a back brace. We waste energy and time and lives trying to get one up with some of these stupid people in law enforcement. Be nice, be respectful. Not all the time, because some of them are just nasty, violent people. I agree, but not all of them. Some of them have had a bad day, but if you say, good day, officer, yes, sir, sure. What do you want? Whatever you want me to do. Normally, when they realize you don't want to give them any difficulty, a lot of times they want someone to give them difficulty to blow off some steam. If you won't give them any steam, then this guy, the black guy, he didn't want to have a problem. I've literally seen cops do that. He didn't want any shit, because there are a lot of people out here that want to fucking fight, and they want to fucking fight a policeman, and the policeman wants to fight their ass, and they want to fight the policeman, and the policeman is wrong. Under the color of law, he's got a badge, he's ignorant, he's racist, and the black dude who doesn't have a badge, who doesn't have a gun, who doesn't even have black people behind him, puts himself in a situation where he gets his life taken or beat the shit kicked out of him unnecessarily.
When he knows his number one job is to make it back home.
Your number one job is, as I said, I've had police have a gun on my ass, and I'm thinking, how do I don't get killed? I'm black, I'm alone, his gun is drawn. Whatever happens, he's the winner, unless I'm smarter than he is. And that's how it worked. I was so calm until the guy freaked. I guess he was thinking he's going to get some loud talk. Why you have a gun on me, you white man? I just sat there. It blew his mind. I mean, if you're going to kill me, you're going to fucking kill me. You got me cornered. I'm not going to try. I mean, even if the coroner looked at, say there was no struggle, they'd have to work to make my murder fit their narrative. Okay, and people that know me, I don't do drugs, I don't do this, it would never work, they would lose. Some of us live compromised lives, which invites the intrusion, the unfair intrusion and discrimination of the government. It's true, but if all of this discriminatory stuff is so, what can I do to keep them from hurting me as best I can? And a lot of our people, including Sandra Bland, blowing smoke in the officer's face that asked you nicely not to do it, isn't what I would do. I would have said, excuse me, officer, you might be allergic. May I put my cigarette out, sir? I'm sorry. Right? That would have completely changed, because he would have said, I'm not allergic. It just, right? That would have. I worked in the mental hospital. It's called redirecting people. You can de-escalate and redirect aggression and rage. You don't believe it? Try it. Avoid it.
We leaving it up to the police and we escalating it.
Yeah, we leave it up to the police. So let's just do this.
You got a question
And
there, Dr. Short, too.
I may not vote. I may not vote this time because there's nothing to vote for. But then again, I am going to vote against anybody. Yeah, I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote against anybody that doesn't have a name that I recognize as an American. So you saw me voting. I won't vote for anybody I don't think was born here. Right now, I'm just mad at everybody. Shit, I feel like a black man. What's the question?
Do you believe the incident with the former Dodge staffer was real?
I hope so. Someone needs to beat that ass. But let me give you a different answer for big balls. I looked at big balls, and big balls, there's a book called Washington, D.C., A Secret City, and it's a history of homosexuality in the State Department and the federal government in D.C. Big balls looks like the kind of young white boys that they fuck on Capitol Hill. He's somebody's meat. That's why there was such a reaction. That's somebody's meat that got beat down. He's blonde, his hair's done just so, and got his little nipples out there. They got rich. I mean, and all the white guys that wanted to screw him, like the Menendez brothers. When the Menendez brothers shot their parents in the head, I remember working in media, and all the white guys that were gay were creaming over these boys. Freedom, freedom. They need to be free, right? It's like, bring them over to our party in our dungeon, right? That's what happened. Yes, it is. Damn it, I'm telling you the truth. Those white guys, this city is full of gay white men who'd like to fuck a boy that looks like him. And some black people beat this white boy's ass. If you knew how racist the gay community is, that hot white boy with the thick ass that got beat by those darkies. I mean, and Trump's got them around him too. I mean, and I think Elon Musk was hitting it. What kind of guy with no girlfriend at 19 with a really good paying job calls himself big balls, and you hang with a bunch of white boys that don't shower? Mm-hmm. See, I went to university. I'm gonna just say a lot of bonding of white guys is a bunch of homo moist shit. That's why they're so tight. They were lovers and shit when they were first year in college. Then they get married. And it's like Brokeback Mountain on steroids in the white community. That's a big part of social cohesion, is white men like each other. White men have had each other. That boy's like the community chest for somebody's sperm. And some black people beat him and people flipped. That's my meat, or I'd like to have him. I'm just telling you, I mean, the log cabin Republicans and the gay organization with the Republican Party, do you think, look, I had to work with the log cabin Republican people. I used to know them all. I can tell you from work with them, if they saw that boy beaten like that, no matter how liberal they were, they would be mad that that hot-ass white boy got beat by some no-good black street trash. This is what's happening in D.C. is in part gay payback for one of theirs getting beaten by black people. Black folks are stupid. They don't know a fucking thing about white gay sexual politics. It's very powerful. It's real powerful. They got a whole lot of fucking power. Lindsey Graham, they have power. And on top of that, they may be, that's why Epstein got pictures of these people. These white gay folk got power bases. DC runs through blackmail, extortion, and secrets. Adam Clayton Powell got stripped of his seniority, not because he spent a little bit of money. He knew too much about who was fucking who. They got tired of him shaking them down for their private lives and said, you know what? Let's all get together, all of us punks, and take out this one black dude that mouths off. How dare him? He's barely black anyway. I mean, they were just, and he's so cute and he hates us, right? and he screws our women and he spurns us, right? Adam Clayton Powell was nice looking. I mean, you don't think some of the white guys that peeped at him and him look down and insult him and shit and talk about being black and shit? It's like, oh, bring him down. Don't you realize, look at Diddy, how this big thing is all about white men having black men be sexually available to them to get into the music business. And it's like they gave Diddy a roster of guys, bring them to us for us to examine them. That's what Diddy was, a procurer for Clive Davis. Y'all don't understand gay white power, dummies. We spend too much time, you know, sissy, faggot, dyke, butch talk, but deal with white gay. White gay culture ain't like black. We don't have a black gay community. Everybody's black. You don't have some black where black gays just own everything. Bullshit. But white gays, yes. There is no Castro for black gay people. Black gay folks live amongst us, whether we are happy with it or not. White gays have their own enclaves, whole islands and shit. They got power bases, organizations and shit. And when I say to you, that boy looks like somebody's meat, and when I saw him get beat, I told people, oh shit. See that little cute white boy get beat like that? And you know what? Let me just say something to you. Have you seen a picture like Big Balls before, where a white pretty boy with blonde hair got his ass beat? See, you. Let me show you something. It helped the whole fucking civil rights movement. Niggas, we saw this all before, but some of you are young and you don't know anything. Nobody taught your ass anything. I'm going to show you a precursor to Big Balls. I'm going to show you what made a lot of white folk mad about the civil rights movement, mad about what happened. Oh, yes, I am. I'm going to show y'all something. I need to show y'all something. Sister Star, I need you guys' help. Sister Star, can you come up and help me? I just need you to get something for me. Because I need to show people that this Big Balls thing literally happened before in a different situation. Oh, yes, it did. People think I'm making this shit up. Okay, I'm going to get this thing right now. I'm going to show you a precursor to Big Balls. Because you guys don't know your damn history and you don't know how shit works. Hold on, let me get the precursor. No, that's not who I want. I got this guy's name. I'm going to show you something. When you see this, okay. Y'all want to see Big Balls? Where are you? Come back here. I want to show you something. Where are you, Brother Quentin? I'm going to hold it. He must have went to the bathroom to take a leak. I'm going to show you guys a picture. Star, I don't know if you can get a link up in here, but I want you to look up a name. And I want to show people an image that moves white people. See if somebody can get this. I'm waiting for the host to come back. See, people don't understand, and these pictures, that person that asked that question about Big Balls, is very important. Rod Luther, let me say this. Some of the same people that run LGBTQ in America run it in Israel. And the Israelis use Palestinian guys that get caught, get tricked by gay Israeli agents or Palestinian double agents, get caught in some homo shit. And that's how they took out that Lebanese shit in Hezbollah. Oh, yes, all those Islamic rules that you can't get no pussy. Nobody's happy with that. Even Brother Q, you know, Muslims ain't happy. People make it so hard for you to get cooch and shit over in the Middle East. People hate that shit. People be trying to find other countries. Now, let me show you an image of big balls from the 60s. You've seen it before. That almost looks like it, doesn't it? That's David Zwerg, the freedom rider got his ass beat with John Lewis. That's what got a lot of white folk, a lot of people in the civil rights movement. They were white gays. Oh, the nice looking white guy, cute blonde white guy, got the shit kicked out of him because he likes dark meat. Well, he's so weak. He probably wanted to get him a big one, and he didn't need to be beaten like that. He just should have just let him have his darky. You know, I don't want to live next door to him, but let him have a good time. David Zwerg. This was the biggest news in the country. This white boy getting his ass beat like this. His name is David Zwerg. I'm sorry, it's James Zwerg. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm saying it's James. I don't know why I have David in my head. I always know the last name, Zwerg. Zwerg's a Jewish dude, cute Jewish dude who likes darkies. Go look him up. And all these pictures of him getting his ass beat for black people. Do you see it? This is part of the movement. All these white folks got in the movement. Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. Why is he wasting his time on spades? Well, you know what? If we get involved in civil rights, he'll come back to the city. Maybe we'll catch him at a party or something, right? This is James Zwerg. This is big balls in the 60s when they were pimping black people for the movement that we didn't benefit from. Gays got all the shit out, and so did the feminists. This looks like big balls. He looks similar. Have you seen the picture of big balls with his ass beat? Doesn't look a little like him? Have his head down? Yes. We've seen this shit before. All you need to do is show a cute white person. That's what the civil rights movement was about. If you could get some whites killed in Mississippi, we could get a civil rights bill. Get some white suckers to get fucked up. In this instance, if you want to have police in the city, they've shot and killed and beaten up a couple of white folk here. It wasn't just one or two. They've killed a couple of people, attacked FBI agents and shit. They've been doing crazy shit here. A lot of it isn't reported because it's so close. The FBI building is not too far from the White House. It's near the Capitol. You have people robbing folks in sight of the Capitol. I mean, you can't report that kind of shit. You've got a whole nother group of people called the Capitol Hill Police whose crime statistics are separate from DC police. And the Park Police, their crime information isn't integrated with the Washington, or should I say, Metropolitan Police Department crime statistics. And some of the shit you don't want to say because it makes it seem as if the nation's capital isn't safe. But back to big balls. The mayor of DC is gay. In fact, what was that thing I was calling her? Oh, yes. She's what's the thing? Well, okay. an ass munching mammy or something like that. It was A2M. And I forget, it was really cool because it was munching something.
She
Or,
said DC. She said DC is the gayest city in America.
it might be with her as far as she's concerned.
Mm.
These, so basically for DC, they thought that all of the crime and shit and getting beaten up. And let me just say to you what happened last year. And I'm going to go back to what I was saying about the Dr. King riots and then bring it to DC. Last year, I was with my mother. We went up to get some stuff from one of our herbalists, his niece. And we were on Massachusetts Avenue where all of the embassies are. And there was no street lights on. And my mother, who's a native Washingtonian, is thinking, why is it so dark? And I was thinking, then I realized, yeah, it is dark. Says maybe it's a power outage, but it couldn't be because the house lights were on. I'm thinking, why is it so dark? I mean, all the embassies, important people, this, that, and the other. And then I saw some people off on the side. And it says, no, Randy. This says, yes, Randy. Yes, Randy. Yes, Randy. Yes. I says, Mom, the lights are off on Massachusetts Avenue for the white gays to look for sex. It's Pride Month. And they don't want people to see them out cruising and sucking dick and fucking and shit. So if there's no lights, you can't see people having public sex in the park. Their privacy is preserved by the darkness. Are you understanding me? That's how much power. They turn the lights off so people can have sex out in the public and you wouldn't see it. And as we got further down Massachusetts Avenue, close to the DuPont Circle, we saw more people in the LGBTQ. I said, yeah, Mom, I never thought of that. I never thought of that. But then again, I remembered there's a book called, I was reading Sexual Relations Between Blacks and Whites. Black sections of town often didn't have street lights, so white people could look for sex in our communities after dark and not be spotted. And that's why I was thinking, nah, but it's 2024, right? No, but still, right? These people need to fuck now, like they did in the 1900s. The light would show their activity. So you turn out the lights. That's how DC is. And the lights were dim all of June. So these people could get their freak on. So if you can get the lights in the capital of the United States to be off at the risk of the drivers and everybody else, so these people can fuck, do you think if I was a rich, powerful sissy and that boy had sucked my dick at one of those parties and the big private houses in Georgetown that they've got, and this boy got beat like he was street trash, that I couldn't put in a call to Trump or someone and say, you know, that was my meat. My meat's supposed to be safe. He was on his way to me. I'm only saying to you, I live here. I've seen this shit. And it's the same way with Diddy. And it's the same way with other people. So big ball shit wasn't staged. They beat the wrong white boy. Had it been some other white dude that wasn't somebody's meat, who probably hadn't given a hand job to Elon Musk as much as him and Trump fight. Elon Musk gave Trump a few $100 million. If that was Elon Musk's meat, that Trump could do a little bit because he may want one of those big donations again or keep him from giving money to somebody else. You don't think people do politics like that? Y'all don't know anything about politics. I'm sorry. Yes, it is. It really is about ass, pussy, dicks, tits, and shit. Yes, it is. They're just as shallow as broke folk in the projects are homeless. They're still driven by sex and power. And yes, they will. The way that they act out when they don't get what they want is different. will pull a gun and shoot people at a block party. They'll put an army out to beat down all the people they felt like attacked their meat. Just saying. And that the Ukrainian bitch that got slapped down in Cincinnati, that's somebody's puss. Somebody snapped. There's a Russian Ukrainian mafia. Those people put in calls and shit. You got to round up all the darkies. We don't care if we started it. The problem is who fights for us, and the answer is nobody. Nobody. So his name is James Werg, the first big balls. This is part of how you got the Civil Rights Bill. This nice white guy getting his ass beat for black people, and folks not caring about whether black people vote or not, the same way the Israelis don't care about dying Palestinians, but they want their nice hostages back home. This is the equivalent of an Israeli hostage in America. This is a Hamas hostage in our history. Hamas may have been white gangsters, but it was in service of black people. And this moved people. And they gave money because this white boy got his ass beat. They didn't get as much money for John Lewis got his ass beat along with them. He had to get his ass beat a few more years. I mean, because this happened, I think, in 61, he got his ass beat like that. John Lewis had to get his ass beat another 4 years before they really says, okay, John, just said Peter, you took on Edmund Pettis. The man, your Coon of the Century award, it's in the mail. It's been post-dated, notarized. It's coming to you. Now, let me go back and do this thing I was doing because I was trying to get somewhere, but I want to answer. Did I answer that person's question?
Yeah, they said thank you.
Okay, and y'all look it up. Y'all gonna find DC is freaky, it's nasty, and remember, someone was saying that Trump's trying to hide something for Epstein. I didn't say it. And I will repeat the story that Dick Gregory told me in 2016 that he had seen pictures of an unsaid, highly elected official was with naked blonde boys in Russia. I don't know whether it's true or false. I'm not going to say who. Leave it to your imaginations who Dick Gregory was talking about. I'm not involved. And I vote the way I fucking vote. I don't care who doesn't like me. It's not like that. I don't care about shit like that. Now let me go back to this Dr. King riot. And then we're going to come and we're about to shut this shit down in about 25 minutes. We're going to get this Dr. King riot shit. We're going to run through that. And just give you how many people. I think they killed about 90 people in 68 or more. They killed a lot of people, and people don't claim bodies and shit. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Brother Q? There's a lot. People die in prison. People don't fucking care about family members. Then they put their ass in the potter's field. Am I lying?
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's common. It's more common than people think.
How many people do you think you know of that got killed in jail and just nobody did shit about it? 5, 10, 25?
All I can tell you is there's no guarantee you making it home. This is why I don't understand why anybody glorifies prison.
So, but wait a minute. Do you know of anybody that got killed while they were in jail?
Yeah.
You have a number?
At least 1 out of every 40, 50 people.
1 out of, and people need to know every year, thousands of black men die in prison every year in this country.
They fell.
And it's not discussed. In fact, more black men die in jail in 5 years than all the people lynched. And there's no discussion. You know why? Because black Americans are fucking liars. Black people that are poor don't matter to black people that are successful. And black people that are poor don't matter to broke-ass black people either. We are very uncompassionate, cruel, and vicious community. We do not care. I believe you, Rod Luther. You had Cicilline. Your congressman was named Cicilline, and he did lean sissy. He was tight with John Lewis and was big in the gay caucus. Yeah, Rhode Island. It should be called Hoe Island. So let's go back to King Riot, where I interrupted, but I had to give it information. The King assassination riots, also known as the Holy Week uprising. Why? Because Dr. King's assassination occurred on Easter holiday in 1968. I remember it. Okay, Dr. King was shot and killed and murdered on April 4th, 1968. The biggest riots took place, DC, Baltimore, Chicago, and Kansas City. It went from April 4th to 11th. It was a whole week. Number of deaths, lowball number 43. Injuries, at least 3,000. Arrests, 20,000 plus. When you think about the fact that they've been going after these illegals, maybe 20,000 people arrested in a week. They didn't arrest that many people in a week for ICE. They were locking people up, man. They were locking people up. Okay. DC was 4 days. Bushy DC. Let me just get down to it. 20,000 people in DC rioted. 20,000 people took to the streets, and they beat down 3,100 people in the police department, which means that the United States had to send in 11,850 federal troops and 1,700 National Guardsmen to shut DC down. 13,000. They're talking about 800 people for this city. 800 can't DC if people are crazy. So again, 16,000 police and military personnel to deal with DC. 1,200 buildings burned, 900 stores. The equivalent, like what, $250 million damage. It was terrible. Chicago, 36 fires, 10,000 police was sent in, 6,700 Illinois National Guard, 5,000 regular troops, 500 people injured, 2,150 arrested. They didn't give a number for the arrests for DC. They arrested as many people as they could here. Baltimore, that started on the 6th. In fact, the governor there said, shoot and kill, shoot to kill. They couldn't control the riot. 1,000 National Guards and troops got overrun by the mobs in Baltimore. 5,000 paratroopers, combat engineers, and artillerymen. That means they came with cannons to Baltimore. At least six people were killed, 700 injured, 1,500 arrested, huge amount of property damage. 6 dead, at least 100 arrests, and multiple injuries in Kansas City. 1 person killed in Detroit. Nobody really killed in Pittsburgh. 1 person killed. 100 businesses destroyed. Cincinnati had another riot. A couple people killed, 70 fires. They had the National Guard. Trenton, New Jersey. Businesses destroyed. 200 businesses in Trenton destroyed. Wilmington, Delaware. Again, this occurred. Louisville, no deaths that I can see, so let me just skip. My people. I remember that one. I was very small. And I want to say for the people, for Watts The occupation was short, but the permanence of the police being a militarized force against blacks in Los Angeles predates the Watts riot. There's a thing called Central Avenue breakdown of a person breaking down because the police murdered a black person on Central Avenue. This is from the 40s and 50s. The Zoot Suit riots, where you had a fight between the police and the Latinos. Not that they weren't messing with black people. For DC, we've had several occupations by the police. The police and the National Guard occupied DC in 1919. They did in 1968. And they're doing it again now. It's not new. This happened all over the country. The National Guard was in Chicago. These things occur when people raise hell. I want to say something quickly about DC. Do I necessarily want the military here? No. But we have a lot of corruption and indifference to black poverty. And the only thing that's going to bring down this regime is for them to get embarrassed for the corruption. They give jobs to illegals. There are all kinds of people from Africa that get jobs. And I can assure you, practically none of you could get a job in the city, no matter how well qualified, especially if you're straight. This is what's happening. The reason there's a lot of crime here, if it is local crime, there are no summer job programs. There's no programs for young people anymore. And this is all being done by black people who know better. But because the Democrat, for all the folk who tripping off of Trump, for black folks to allow even the black gay mayor who fucks white men, the former one, where a white person could get a house for $1 that they wouldn't sell to you for 100,000. This is the kind of criminality of the black elite that I've seen with my own eyes. If the military makes them look bad, if the military brings down these people who lie about crime statistics, who have SNAP for everybody, you've got black folks in the street that are veterans, who are homeless, eaten by rats and everything else, and the hotels are full of illegals who are involved in drug sales as well as human trafficking, subsidized by the city.
Hey, Dr. Short, let me ask you, what was the effect when she shut down St. Elizabeth Hospital, the mental hospital?
Oh my God! Well, where do you think the crazy people are going to go? And who shut the mental asylums down? Ronald Reagan, a Republican. We need to send people that are mentally challenged and addicted to places where they can be rehabbed, or at least kept in a safe environment where they're not out going nuts on people. You know, all I can say to you is they don't have a good plan. This was knee-jerk. Again, that was somebody's meat. And Trump and them saw this on the heels of Cincinnati. We're not paying attention to Watts, but the white think tanks are paying attention to Watts. And those black folks beating those people's ass, okay, let me just repeat. When did they beat the people's ass with the chairs? Wasn't that 23?
Yeah, that was a year ago, 23.
Oh,
Yeah.
last year was 24.
Well, 24. That was 24.
I thought it was
a year and a couple weeks. It was a couple weeks ago. It was the first year anniversary.
So they saw black folks go postal on white people down south, and then they saw them go postal on white people up north. Anybody that's saying, isn't this the Watts anniversary for all the black folks? History don't matter, that's in the past. I sleep with white women, and my sisters I got kids that are half white, they love me, and you're hateful, you're a bigot, you don't want anyone to get along, you're such a racist, I fucking hate people, we could just love each other, man, white girls love me, black people, all the fucked up people like you out there, right? There are a lot of you. Where none of this. Oh, wait a second. Savannah says August 5th, 2023. It is 2023. It's not 24. I knew it was 23. That's 60 years after niggas went crazy in Birmingham. Just shy a few weeks of the Birmingham, shy about 5 weeks of the Birmingham riot. You don't think people sit up in think tanks and look at this shit? Black folks went crazy in a small southern town on white people, and then it started happening all up north and shit. You don't think people didn't hear about the damn riot in Birmingham when Negroes finally stood up? And black folks are super passive in Alabama and Mississippi. Then black folks, Cincinnati. I told you, Cincinnati. Remember, what's that woman's name? Her name is Gardner. The woman that killed all of her kids. The woman that tried to kill all of her kids in Cincinnati. The movie Beloved is about that. Hold on, let me get this woman's name. Forgive me. Sometimes I can't remember the names like I want to, but I want to make certain I tell you the right thing. This woman ran away from Kentucky to Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm going to put in fugitive slave. Maybe that'll do it. Hold on. Excuse me. This woman tried
Margaret Gardner.
Yeah, it's Margaret Gardner. Thank you. Margaret Gardner is a black woman who fled from Kentucky to Cincinnati, and her master tracked him down through some slave catchers, and she tried to kill her children so they wouldn't have to go back to slavery. And these folks were hoping that the states' rights laws would allow her to be tried as a murderess in Ohio. But because the Fugitive Slave Act of the federal government, she was returned to her owner in Ohio and was sold further down south. That's in 1857 that woman slashed her kids' throats trying to kill them so they wouldn't have to be. Cincinnati has been a touchstone. So, I mean, there was something I told you, 1829, they did an ethnic cleansing in Cincinnati. They did an ethnic cleansing in Cincinnati in 1841. This woman, because they had nothing but slave catchers trying to keep people from leaving Kentucky, this has always been a racial hotbed of injustice. So you have black folk beating white people's ass publicly and shit in Cincinnati. Cincinnati had a riot in 96. Don't you guys realize that other people pay attention to your history, even if you don't? Have you ever noticed that Jews and other people dominate black history? They've got more access. You go off to university and almost everything is done by, most of it's done by other people. Black folk have to literally come under people and other groups to be able to get into, to be legitimate historians, if that's such a thing. You need to go through white people because we haven't done enough to, and I could say the National Association or the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, but shit, very few people go to those conferences. That's for a bunch of Negroes that need ego bombing because they get fucked, and the white historical associations that everybody respects more. Real talk. We don't like anything that's ours, not even our genitalia. That's where we give it to the wrong sex or to the wrong group of people. I'm just saying to you that other people study your history. They know about you. You don't know about you. And you think that when these landmark dates and things occur, that it doesn't put people on edge. When the DC race riot centennial occurred, there was no discussion of it here, especially with this little stud ass mayor we had. Why? You don't want to give people any ideas. You want to act them because black people won. Folk would be inspired to find out black folks had machine guns in 1919. I mean, fighting the army and shit and winning. That might inspire somebody. Damn, maybe we could stand up now. That's part of what history does. Maybe if they blow, I won't fall down. Because right now, you know, a lot of Negroes, you know how you used to play Simon Says? You know what black people play? White man says. White man says, kill yourself. White man says, be gay. White man says, kill your baby. White man says, sit on a sex toy. White man says, get tattoos. White man says, give all your money to Asians. White man says, support illegals. White man says, give the Asians an anti-Asian crime deal. White person says, don't live around each other. White person says, don't form a family. White man says, get your titties cut off, call yourself a man. White person get your dick cut off, call yourself a woman. I mean, why do we keep playing white man says? We're pathetic. Sad. Damn, we're sad. So look, it's 10:16, and I don't want you to lose that good white job you have. And that's a good white job. Don't you like your white job? Tell the truth.
It's not a black job. It's not a black job.
No, it's not a black job. And working for ICE isn't a black job. By the way, hold your wrist back up.
You see how dark I am? You see how light? Hold up.
Oh,
That's
God
damn.
We must be related and shit.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? Yeah. Shoot, I'm sorry. You know, we have to pass for like being like almost completely black and shit because our community is so fucking color struck.
Hey, so with that, you guys make sure you like, share, subscribe.
Yes.
Support Dr. Randy Short. Randy
and
Short.
His brother got to go to his white job.
WRandyShort@gmail.com. Make sure you support him with Zelle. Make sure you support him with Cash App.
No, they took my Cash Apps.
Oh.
I have a Give, Send, Go, and I've got PayPal. My Give, Send, Go is, let me see. I don't know how to send that shit to you. But then again, can I message you? My Give, Send, Go is givesendgo.com/GAMGG.
I got something I want to show you, Dr. Short.
Okay. Because, fuck Cash App.
Oh, you'd be proud of me.
Well, I'm already proud of you. You're not black.
Oh. Without Sanctuary, Dr. Short.
Oh, man, you got one, too. How much you pay?
60. Look, it's still in the plastic.
Where'd you get it from?
I get you the site you gave me. That rare bookstore site.
See if they have another one. The next time I get paid, I'll get one.
I'm on it. But anyway, you guys, best way to support us is like Dr. Short said. Those are his Zelle, his PayPal, his gift.
It's WRandyShort@gmail.com.
WRandy Short, and understand that Dr. Short is a reader, and he's buying books. You're seeing literally what you're donating to him for. So you're getting tangibles.
And tell them this one. I'm gonna try to do this tomorrow. This book. I've been reading from this, The Road to Disunion. This is a hell of a book. I've seen other people have gotten it. This is volume 2. They hacked my bank card like 3 times on one and 2 on the other. As soon as I get my new bank cards, I'm gonna get the volume 1. Man, and I'm going to be reading from that as well as the Lincoln Douglas debates. Man, y'all want to hear some hate? And the same sort of language that's being used today, being used in the 1850s. The more racism changes, the more it stays the same. The question is, will we change to save ourselves?
With
I
that,
don't want to hold you guys, so I know, and I don't want you to lose your white job. And see, you'll have to put on the skin lightening cream and lighten up to try to like get them to take you back. So yeah, good night. I looked at it. Damn, I didn't know that's you, man. This is not a white dude. You're a redneck pastor. He probably got a mask and shit. This dude is white.
with that, take care. Good night.
Okay, take care. Good.